Today we're taking a look at the Hyundai Kona N-Line. Not the N, the N-Line. There's a performance difference between the N and the N-Line, but I think this might be the Kona to buy, and we're going to talk about that in depth in this video. So if you've never joined us before for a live video, what we do is these, first of all, they are live. You may not be watching it live, but they are filmed live, and we're going to let our live audience build over the first 3 minutes. So we're going to go really in depth with this. We're going to spend about a half an hour with this car, but in the first 3 minutes, we're going to let our live audience build, which means if you're not watching live and you want just the content, you can skip ahead to that 3-minute mark if you want. If you don't, we're going to cover some news, some notes, and I'm going to show you how to join us live while we're at it. So let's jump in here. I will tell you how to join us live. I'm going to flip the camera around here. There we go. I'm on the wrong page. We'll come back to that. There we go. If you want to join us live, this is our YouTube page. This is what it looks like. It is the Kia Hyundai channel. If you go there live at 2 o'clock Eastern time on a weekday, when I'm not on vacation, I was on vacation last week, we do this live every single day. So here you go. You jump to the page, you refresh the page, or you just go there exactly at 2 o'clock, and you will see our live video. As soon as I click that, you're going to have to watch an ad, and I'm sorry about that. If you're not watching the ad right now, I'm going to just skip that, and you can run an ad here. First of all, I just want you to know that the Kia Hyundai channel is supported by 3 dealerships: Brantford Hyundai, Owen Sound Hyundai, and Brantford Kia. We film here in the Brantford Kia studios every single day. If you are in Ontario looking to buy a car, as soon as this video is done, you can reach out to me in the link in the description. I will put a link in there. Just reach out to me. I'll connect you with our sales team. They work with me. They're awesome people. They will take care of you. They will treat you well, and they will give you a great deal. So there's your little ad. I want to thank you for watching that. And in the meantime, we'll flip back down here. Just got a couple people on right now. A couple people say hello. And if you are on for the very first time, feel free to say hello. Feel free to write anything you want. We have a few less people on, and I think that's because I took a week away there. So a few less people, not everybody knows that I'm back. So we'll handle that. Now let's talk news and notes. A lot of cool stuff coming out from the Kia Hyundai world. Start with Hyundai, the Elantra N. It's a thing, it's going on live. You can follow on social media. If you want to follow on social media, the easiest way is just follow me. I will link to various things. I'm on Instagram, Peter, Kia Hyundai channel. And if you follow on social media, you can see Hyundai Worldwide is going to talk about a worldwide debut of that Elantra N. From what I can tell, it's coming to Canada. They put it on the Canadian Instagram channel as well. Also, the Kia Sportage is coming out. They did a launch yesterday, or a little bit more information yesterday on their Kia Worldwide channel there. That one's interesting because they're advertising as an urban utility vehicle, which, yeah, that's what this company did not too long ago. So it worked out well for Hyundai. We'll see if it works out well for Kia. But we'll be following those vehicles fully in depth, in detail when they arrive. Nobody's going to have more details on them, so feel free to hit that subscribe button because that's what we're going to cover live. A lot of stuff coming up. Sorry for going over 3 minutes here. Santa Cruz is coming up. Kia Sportage, Elantra N, a lot of exciting vehicles, not to mention the Ioniq 5, the EV6, a lot of really kind of groundbreaking vehicles actually coming up soon, so feel free to hit the subscribe button. We'll go in depth in detail. All right, in the meantime, let's take a look at what we've got in front of us today. Now, I've had trouble liking the Kona a ton. And it started when we did only Kia videos. I was a little hard on the Kona, but then the Kona stepped up its game because the Kia Seltos came out. The Kia Seltos, frankly, had better features when it came out than the Kona, but the Kona has been refreshed for 2022, and I highly recommend it now. And to be very honest, I highly recommend this trim because this trim kind of speaks to me. It's kind of exactly what I want. I am not a person who wants leather seats and everything. This got cloth seats, but they're comfortable. They've got red stitching in them. It's really sporty. You've got some different exterior details here as well. One of the things I didn't love about the regular Kona, and it's, you know, not a big deal, is it has this plastic cladding here that is kind of, on the regular one, just a matte black, kind of dark gray, and it's fine because it's durable. It doesn't scratch the paint. But it looks a little different, and I really like the the body color. And I have a little graphic here from Hyundai, which I'll show you because, unfortunately, the vehicle that I got today is black. But you can really see the difference when you take a look at some of these pictures. In this area here, let me find my mouse. This would be a black cladding area, but you can see on the different colors other than black, it really stands out, blends in well, and it really makes this a much sportier looking car. It also has the 18-inch wheels and tires here, and then you get the 1.6-liter turbo engine, which is used throughout the Kia Hyundai lineup, but only in one other car that I can think of, maybe two other cars. There aren't many cars that this 1.6 liter turbo actually makes as much horsepower as it does in this car. So a lot of pretty cool things going on here. Something like the Kia Seltos uses this engine, but it only rates it for about 180-ish horsepower. The Kia K5, the Sonata, they use it as well, 180-ish horsepower. This is 195 horsepower from that engine and 195 foot-pounds of torque. We're going to talk about that and more. We're going to talk about the front-end look, and all of that's coming up. So here's what's going on, guys. In the next half hour, 25 minutes or so, we're going to go crazy in depth with this car, more in depth than probably any other video that you have. Do me a favor, hit that like button. If we all hit the like button together, that'd be great right now. We're going to see how we can do. That's the only thing I ask you, one little click, and I will answer your questions. We will give you all the details I can. So let's talk about it. We're going to look at the headlights a little bit later and go front, but I want to show you the front end here. Now again, a lot of this would be this sort of matte plastic on the regular Kona, and it's all painted here, and it looks, in my mind, a lot sharper. The Kona has LED daytime running lights up here. Some trim lines do have LED lights in here, and you can see if you're a Kona aficionado, which I guess I am now, it's a little bit different in the new look here. You have a little cleaner look here, a little bit of a black insert on this N-Line, and that is a projector beam halogen light. You can get LEDs in other trim lines. You do have some painted areas here. It is definitely a cleaner look out front, but the N-Line has a little bit more aggression to it. I like that little bit of sporty style. I like the N-Line badge. I think they do that well. And then you have these false vents here just to add a little bit more of a look. Now on the black car, I'm gonna be fully honest, they don't really stand out that much, but on a different color car, it definitely looks different. It doesn't even look like a Kona in some ways because of the refresh and the body color paint. It looks a lot sharper. They keep on the Kona, the only car that I know in the lineup that has these LED signal lights here. Most of them, they have a line across the back here. So you've got a little different style there. You do have an N-Line badge on the side there. Hey, there's me in the background. How are you, everybody? And so you have that. And overall, this just looks like a sporty hot hatch almost, but it is a little taller. You do gain the roof racks, of course, here. So for someone like myself who does a lot of outdoor activities, things like kayaking, I can strap on a couple crossbars over here and over here, throw my kayak on top, throw bikes on top, anything you want. Makes it super practical. And coming along the back, they've also cleaned up the look. Again, body color right through. You've got the dual exhaust on the right-hand side. A nice little diffuser kind of look down there. The diffuser, just so you know, some people ask me what's the diffuser, and I forget to point that out. That's that area down there. So just an overall cleaner look in this car. And then because it's not a hot hatch, it is a sporty crossover, you have all-wheel drive. So that turbo engine, 1.6 turbo with all-wheel drive. It's a great combination of what people are looking for, and it's the reason that it's been the best-selling vehicle in its class for a while now. So let's just jump in. We're gonna show you the key here as well. It is a keyless entry vehicle. It is a push-button start. This is what the key looks like. You'll notice you do have remote start on the key fob now. So lock, unlock, remote start, which I think is what a lot of people want. We used to just put a trunk button on there. You don't need the trunk button. You need the remote start. I'm gonna put that key in my pocket, and I will not have to use it outside of my pocket the rest of the video because everything I need is right in there. If I wanna come and unlock the car, I tap that button once, the driver's door unlock. If I double tap, all the doors unlock. Or I can just simply set it up so one tap does all the doors. Now inside this car, again, this is what I really like about this car. It just has a little bit more of a premium feel, even though it's a cloth car. And I think that's a nice thing to have. You've got this pretty cool cloth down here. It's hard to show on video. It just doesn't come up right, but it's got a bit of a texture to it. It feels strong and sturdy, which I like. You've got the red stitching throughout on the outside. And then you've got this pretty cool looking stripe, which again, is not showing as well on camera as it does in real life, and the N badging stuck in there. Now you saw on the Veloster N that we had in earlier, that N sits right there. That doesn't say N-Line, so you get this illusion of a little bit more sports, but this is about comfort as well. The N-Line rides like a the N rides like a go-kart. This one rides like a comfortable car that handles well and rides well. Down here, you've got sort of vents that they use in the Kia Hyundai lineup a little bit here. Kind of Stinger inspired, Kia Stinger inspired. Kia Forte has something similar. They work pretty well. You aim them whatever way you want, and then you've got the ability to close the vent or open the vent by turning that. You can see which way it is, open or closed. This is open just so you know. And once you know how much air is flowing through, you can kind of control that. But the little red accent details there as well. Down on the steering wheel, you have that N badge there as well. and you have the red stitching as well as this perforated look to the sides of the steering wheel. So just an overall sporty look. Kia tends to do their D-cut steering wheels. Hyundai keeps having the round steering wheels, which I don't know. I think they're both kind of good. Honestly, I think I prefer the round steering wheel there. So you've got some tech features here. We're going to touch on some of these things here, but we'll take a look inside. Overall on the interior, the other big difference is this gear shift taken straight from like the Veloster N, for instance. You have that N badge on top. You have that red stitching. It fits nicely in your hand. It has this false perforation here, so it doesn't quite go all the way through. And you can really see that area there. Looks pretty sharp. And you also have heated seats, heated steering wheel, the auto start start off. Now, this is one thing. Everybody complains about this auto start, auto stop thing. So basically, the car is capable of turning itself off at a stoplight. I got it to work today. I turned it on, let it use. If you turn the air conditioning below half, so I had the fan running because it's a hot day here. I had the fan running where it was, and I just turned it down to there. And then the car didn't need to stay running after that. It turned itself off, and I gotta admit, I had the radio going. It wasn't loud. I didn't even hear it restart. It is such an unintuitive, like unobtrusive thing. So some people have driven cars that are frankly quite poor when it comes to that auto start stop, and they don't like it, and I get that. This car is different. It's better than that. All right, gonna show you a couple things here. I'm gonna turn that climate system off. Let's just turn it back off and on again. All right, do that there. All right. Ooh, what I wanted to do was show you that coming live. Let's just do that one more time. Whoops. Turn it off, open the door, shut the door. All right, let's turn it on again here. Again, we're not starting the car, we're just turning to the on position because we are indoors, but you have a nice color display screen here, and it's, again, not showing as well on video as it could, but you have the actual Kona sitting there in the display screen. You've got good information here. What I like about Hyundai is they got a lot of blue accents. So you got blue accents there, you got blue accents on the wheel, blue accents around the radio, around the buttons, just a kind of clean, tied in together look, blue, colors on the stereo system here. So just a nice overall tied in look that I really quite like. The big thing with this Kona, if you haven't been in a Kona in a few years, is they've really upgraded a lot of the software, a lot of the safety, a lot of the features. So let's just take a look at some of the little things that you see here. You've got this menu button here. You can cycle down. Now you see before I moved it, this here, those little three dots, they didn't show. Let it calm down for a second, and it'll disappear. And we'll wait for it. But anyways, yeah, there we go. Those lines will disappear. So you have a clean look no matter what screen you're looking for. And it's just, typical iPad type stuff that you see here. Now, ignore fuel efficiency numbers. I've had this car idling quite a bit today. 10.5 liters per 100 kilometers isn't terrible, but it can do better than that for sure. This is your instant fuel economy. Again, it's a colored bar graph that moves across. We showed you some of these yesterday on some of the vehicles we're looking at, but this one is a more 3D level type display. So good display in there. You've got your thing. You can change the theme of this as well, which is kind of cool. This is your all-wheel drive bar graph, and I love this because it proves to you how the all-wheel drive system works. A lot of cars, the front-wheel drives have to slip before the rear wheels engage. As soon as I start the car, put it in drive, you're going to see power go. You're going to see these bar graphs fill with power to the rear wheels. As it maintains traction, it'll move that power away from the rear wheels to the front. So you don't wait for the front wheels to slip and lose traction before you send it to the rear and try to regain traction. You start in all-wheel drive and it'll fade over to front-wheel drive as it maintains traction. It's a really good system, but you can watch it work, and that's when you really understand why it works so well in the poor weather. So that's kind of cool. Tire pressure monitors, you've got that as well. Driver attention alert level, and lane keeping assist, as well as lane follow assist, which is a new feature on the 2022s. They didn't have lane follow assist before. What does that do? Kind of sounds crazy. What it does, basically, it steers the car for you. Now, not completely. If you are in a lane, it will keep you centered in the lane. The lane follow assist is very precise. It keeps you very, very well centered in the lane. And it is a system that I use almost all the time. I recommend using it. It can be odd at first because you feel the car nudging itself, but if you've ever been on a long trip without it, after having driven with it, you'll find that you don't pay attention to how many times you correct yourself, how many times you drive down and you're always correcting to stay in the lane. Once you have a car with it, you put your hand here and the car goes straight down the lane, and it takes all the stress out of driving. And like I said, you don't realize how useful it is until you switch to a car that doesn't have it and you're doing this all the time and you're going, man, that takes a lot more concentration, where you can not enjoy things around you quite the same, not be as alert. All right, down here is another big thing that we see. You can see you got satellite radio here. To me, if it's a good car for me, it's got to have satellite radio, it's got to have AM, FM, and preferably it has to have AM, FM with a HD radio. Does this not have HD radio? It doesn't have HD radio. I thought it did. Anyways, but you have satellite radio, AM, FM, and then, whoops, I didn't mean to hit that. Android Auto or Apple CarPlay wirelessly. Now this is huge. We all know that when we had Bluetooth phones and then it switched to Bluetooth streaming, maybe some of you are too young for this. Bluetooth phone was great. You could talk on the Bluetooth. It never worked great, but it was okay. And then you could switch to streaming Bluetooth, which means you could stream your music. Well, now you've got the same thing with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, which allows you to have the full Android Auto and Apple CarPlay experience wirelessly, which means you can pull it up anytime while the car is or while the phone is in the car. And what I do is I set up this custom button to pull it up, and then I have a hard button that can pull it up no matter where I am on the screen, and that works pretty well. So you can, go cycle through whatever you want to see for that. I should point out the backup camera in this car is excellent as well. You can see every line on the floor, very wide angle as well. I really appreciate that. You also have rear cross traffic alert. So that is your blind spot detection hardware. So we have blind spot detection when we're driving forward, but it uses that same radar that sees people in our blind spot when we go in reverse. And what it does is it allows us to see or to be warned of something outside of our vision. So imagine I'm parked beside a minivan right over here. And that table is a person walking behind the car. I can't see them because the minivan is there, right? So there's no possible way I can see that person at all because I'm parked beside a minivan. However, the back of the car can see it. And even though you can't see them in your backup camera yet, you can see them approaching because you'll get warned with arrows and beeping to tell you. So rear cross traffic alert, to me, is the best part of blind spot detection, more than blind spot detection. Of course, if you buy a Hyundai and have you have blind spot detection, you'll have rear cross traffic alert. So that's super good down there. Coming down here, there is a spot to stick your phone down here. It works with my iPhone 11 Pro. I don't have a Pro Max, but it does fit there. So you can put your phone out of the way up there, or you can set it down here on this rubbery kind of mat here. You do have a USB 12 volt and a USB port. So if you wanted to go wired to CarPlay, which some people like to do still, you have a USB port right there, and then you can use that one to connect there, but you can also use this other one to charge. And what I like is the USB port is on the driver's side. I think that's useful if you're charging something. The driver is usually one who wants to do something like that. Drive mode knob right here. You have 3 drive modes in this car, and they are the right drive modes. I'll show you them right here. Let me just zoom in a little bit for you. There we go. You have normal, sport, and smart. And that is the perfect drive modes in my mind. Normal just is the way the car would come from the factory if you're just doing normal driving. Smart mode is the new eco mode. So what smart mode does is it gives you great efficiency when you're driving efficiently. But if you get into the throttle a little bit, it's going to change the way the gear shifts go, change the way the throttle reacts. It'll move it to normal or smart. Or sorry, normal or sport. If you go to sport mode, the car feels peppy. This car needs a sport mode. It's an N-Line. It's a 1.6 liter, pretty good horsepower, pretty good torque, and you've got a real peppy feel. So smart mode is awesome because it gives you great fuel efficiency, but when you get into the throttle, it can jump into that sport mode and make it real sporty. So you don't have to drive all the time with that sport mode, which can be, poor efficiency, but a lot of fun. But if you want to use your throttle to determine how the car reacts, you can do that. And I want to point out the torque in this engine. Torque is the pushing power that you feel. So when you have a car accelerating, it's not the horsepower number you feel, it's the torque number. Horsepower is what you feel at high speeds. 100 kilometers an hour, you keep giving it more and more and more. That's horsepower. Torque is what you feel. And you rev your engine. So of course, from 1400 RPM up, you have maximum torque. So think about your old car or the car you drive right now. When you really need to feel the power, you rev the snot out of it and you're feeling power up over here. Imagine having all of the power you have over here all the way down at around 1450, 1500 RPM. So that means when your car's running normally, it's around 1000 RPM, 1200 RPM. When you give it a little bit of gas, you are at max torque, max acceleration power. And you have that, and you can keep it in that rev range, especially in the sport mode. It's going to keep the revs a little bit higher. And you have that instant, when you tap the throttle, the car pulls. It pulls hard. And for this class, it makes it a lot of fun to drive. This 1.6 liter turbo engine is really good for that peppiness. It doesn't require premium fuel. It's still a very fuel efficient engine. However, you have that peppiness, and you have a dual clutch transmission, a 7-speed dual clutch, which is an extra gear ratio over some cars, and it gives you that really quick shifting and efficiency. So it's just the best of both worlds. So again, this is not a pure sports car, but if you're someone who likes a stronger feeling car, this is your car. This is the one to get. Coming up over here, you've got BlueLink. BlueLink is a cell phone app. Now, I showed you on the key fob, you could remote start the car from the key fob. When you see these buttons here, you can get a tow, you can call SOS, you can use navigation type features, but what you can really do is use your cell phone app to remote start the car. It's a great feature. You can also do things like make sure your windows are shut, doors are locked, excuse me, check a whole bunch of other things. And yeah, so the cell phone app, BlueLink, is a really good feature. You can use it for a whole bunch of stuff, a lot of stuff. It has a whole bunch of features. You can remote start the car, make sure the heated steering wheel, stuff like that is on. So when you get in the car in the winter, not only is your car warm from the heater, your steering wheel is also warm. So nice feature there. All right, we are 20 minutes in. We're gonna jump out. Sorry, I meant to do this. We're gonna jump out. We're gonna take your questions. If you haven't hit the like button yet, do me a favor, hit the like button. We're gonna see if there's any questions. Looks like it's pretty quiet in the comments section today, and that's okay. That means if you're new here, you can ask a question. If you're not live with us, just ask it below in the comments and I'll get to it as well. But what we'll do is we'll jump out here. Where are we headed next? We're gonna go backseat and trunk space. We're gonna use my trunk measurement tool to compare this car to other cars so you can see how that is. We're gonna look at the headlights as well. And if there's something you wanna see that I'm not pointing out or not mentioning, just ask me about it and we'll show it to you. All right, so if you wanna hit the like button, I'm gonna show you the car, not me, and I will see if there's any comments or questions in there. I think it's been pretty quiet. I think I've either exhausted you, filled you out with the details. All right. Okay, so somebody else had to leave, got some high alls, nothing. Am I not seeing any questions? Yes. All right, no questions at all? That's good. We can keep rolling through. All right, let's keep digging through now to trunk space. Trunk space in the Kona. This is a urban utility vehicle. It's not largest in class, but again, if we wanted largest in class, we'd buy a full-size pickup with an 8-foot bed. Nobody does that anymore. What you need is enough space for you. And if you need enough space for you, the Kona's probably gonna satisfy you. It's got a pretty cool looking floor down here. The floor lowers just a little tiny bit. Now you can see you can sit on that tray up there, and then the floor panel would be level, and that would give you a little bit of underfloor storage. Somebody says, is this car bigger than the K5? No, actually, it's significantly smaller, and it uses the same engine as the Kia K5. So great question there. Much smaller, easier to park, easier to drive, but you do have a lot of functionality here with this hatchback. So when you can lower that floor like that, when it's up, you have a little bit of extra underfloor storage, which I can show you right now. You have a spare tire there in case you wondered. A lot of these smaller cars, smaller vehicles don't always have it. But when you have this, you can set your gym shoes, those kind of things down underneath there. When you lower it down, you can gain a little bit of extra space. Now, the reason you might want to gain that space is because this car does come with the privacy cover. When you have the privacy cover, sometimes a little bit of luggage, a little bit of something larger, just gives a little bit extra space. It will fit with that underneath. Now, the privacy cover comes off, the rear seats fold, and you can throw a large item in here. You know, you can go to your Home Depot and get maybe a washer or dryer, or, well, maybe not a washer dryer, but a dishwasher or something like that. You can slide it right there in the box. You can't do that with a lot of small cars, and you can with the Kona. So we're gonna throw the teddy bear, my trunk measurement tool, in here. What I do with him is I tend to stick his belly up into the back area. Now, if you're looking at a Kia Soul, we looked at the Kia Soul yesterday, you'll notice the Kia Soul is a similar size teddy. Now, Soul has a little bit more height that's square, but the Kona is pretty good that way too. And it's probably a similar size floor, but again, the Kona, you have that all-wheel drive, which is a nice little feature to have. So Teddy fits underneath there. I can shut the trunk, the cargo cover won't even touch his tummy because we've dropped it just about that inch. So he's kind of a perfect fit in there. And Teddy is massive. If you've ever looked at any of our videos, Teddy is used in a whole bunch of our videos, so you can compare across my videos to see which trunk is bigger by seeing Teddy Bear in there. All right, let's take Teddy out. You've done a good job, Teddy. Throw him on the floor. Had a rough day. Oh, he looks kind of chilled there. All right, so Teddy's gone. All right, come on, camera, there we go. So I'm gonna shut this down here. Now we're gonna go back seat space. Again, the thing with the Kona, it's not biggest in class. And some people will say, okay, it has to be biggest in class to be the best. Maybe that's true. But I think if you're looking for a Kona, and again, the Kona is the best-selling vehicle in its class, or one of the best-selling vehicles in its class, when you look at the Kona, it has to be right-sized. It has to fit you. So you can get a more spacious rear seat in a small crossover, but then you end up with a little bit bigger crossover. The Tucson has it, the Santa Fe has it, there's also, but you do fit 6-footers in here. So this is where the driver's seat would be with me, a 6-footer. Can I fit behind myself? Well, let's find out. Again, a little bit more height than a typical small wagon, which is really what this looks like. We can't say wagon anymore in the car industry because apparently if I say wagon, you don't buy it, but I think you're smarter than that. What's cool about this N-Line is I have enough headroom, I have enough knee room. I can sit 4 people comfortably, 5 people legally back here without any issues. You have a nice armrest, and again, these cloth seats have this nice rich feeling cloth. The armrest falls exactly where you want. You still have the striping on the seat that we showed in the front, so that's pretty cool there. Just a real sporty look back here, and it's quite comfortable back here. The other thing I like is a lot of cars go with the lighter style headliner. Makes the car feel more roomy. Black tends to make it feel a little more sporty. So you get in this car and it feels like a little bit of a sporty car. All 3 headrests, middle seat, outside seat. You can adjust the headrest to have them up, lower, up, higher or lower, whatever you need them. And back here, there's a little bit of a nice amenity. There's a pocket here, and I'm a big fan of plastic back seats if you are taking kids, and these are plastic back seats. Now, first of all, you've got leather. It's not going to scuff or rip the same way as, or you've got cloth, which isn't going to scuff or rip the same way leather could if you have kids. But when you have these plastic back seats, you wipe it down with a wet cloth, and they are clean, and that is what you want if you have kids. So again, is it largest in class? It's not. Is it right size for a lot of people? Absolutely. If somebody says that you can't fit someone back here, there I am, 6 feet sitting behind myself, quite comfortable. And the other thing that's really nice, and Kia Hyundai does this better than a lot of manufacturers, they have seats which are level. I did a used car video on a Tesla Model S this morning. The Tesla Model 3, people dream of having a Tesla Model 3. Then they get their rear passengers in them, and the Tesla Model 3, your rear passengers are doing this because their floor is too high and their legs don't sit on the seat, and it's really uncomfortable back there. This car, no problems at all. So you've got a nice little light back here as well as in the front, and this one's right above the passengers. It's not really way out in front. I don't know if I can show that accurately. So it's easier to reach if I want to turn that on myself. It's not way out in front between the front seats. So it's just, you've got the lighting in the front, you've got the lighting in the rear. And again, in a darker interior car, you want lighting placed correctly. And they think about those kind of things. They don't put it, way forward in the front so you don't have that issue. All right. Hey, Gabby's here, everybody. There she is. She's trying to hide. All right. So we'll keep going over. I'm going to take your questions again. We'll show you the lighting in a second here on this car. Again, this is basically a styling package with the better engine. And then you get the upgraded features inside. A lot of the safety features, the lane follow assist, that kind of thing. But overall, this took the Kona from a car that I just had a tough time fully recommending to a car that I would definitely take home myself. I like the styling package. It's got the safety features in the 2022 model, which is, I really think, if you're looking for a Kona, the 2022 model and above is the one to go with. Really, I think that's definitely the car. And yeah, all right, I still see no questions, so I've just drowned out the questions. Nobody wants to ask a question today, and I get that. That's okay. Let's go over here. The lighting is on, so we'll show it to you. Out front, this is gonna be a little hard to film. You've got this really bright little amber light there, which is all you need. One single light is definitely very visible right there. What you can't see, because I'm in a brightly lit from behind room, is these bright LED lights, which are daytime running lights. Those are sort of like eyebrows to the regular headlight, which has a nice sharp cutoff. It is a projector beam headlight, and the signal light is right beside it. So clean looking lighting. The reason the headlight's down low is kind of a nice feature is, you've got that, you're never gonna blind anybody with those headlights. They keep them down lower. Well, the daytime running lights, you'll notice them lighting up reflective signs. So when you have these sharp cutoff lights, sometimes on a stop sign, you won't light up the stop sign if it's down low. So these extra lights up high are the ones that light up the road signs, the stop signs, when that sharp cutoff, which you can kind of see here. I parked it relatively appropriately. That sharp cutoff isn't going to light up the above lights as much, but it's amazing what happens at night with those LED lights up top, which appear to be flickering on camera. They're not flickering in real life, but those are really good at lighting up some of that extra ambient lighting. So people forget about that, is that signage lighting with modern headlights doesn't light up unless you have a secondary light. Back here, same idea as we used to have. You've got taillights up top with the brake lights, and then you've got the backup light and the signal light in there. This has been really cleaned out in the new model. So it's hard to describe the difference between the two. Do you sit higher than a car and lower? Do you sit higher than a car or lower than an SUV? So it's exactly the in-between. This is a crossover utility vehicle. If you look at the window sticker, this is the 2022 Kona N-Line, all-wheel drive, dual-clutch transmission, CUV, crossover utility vehicle. And it's really named appropriately as a crossover utility vehicle because you do sit higher than something like the Elantra, you sit lower than something like the Tucson. So in the Hyundai lineup, you sit right in the middle, and it's sort of right-sized for a lot of people. It's not meant to be an off-roading vehicle. It is a urban crossover, but it does give you the all-wheel drive. The all-wheel drive system is fantastic in the snow, and I'm just going to quickly tell you why. We mentioned the front wheels don't have to slip before sending power to the rear wheels and grip. You start with both wheels pushing the car forward, and then it moves the power forward as you maintain traction. So the reason that's important, if you've ever driven a front-wheel drive car, this is your car, in the snow, and you're going around a corner, as you go around that corner, if your front wheels lose traction, instead of continuing around that corner, what happens is you now start plowing sideways. You're plowing the direction you were going instead of following where you want your wheels to go. Once you start plowing and you give your rear wheels traction, well, now you're just accelerating yourself into the ditch. With an all-wheel drive system that doesn't wait for your front wheels to lose traction, because again, you don't want to lose traction and then try to regain it. With an all-wheel drive system that starts in all-wheel drive and moves the power forward as it sees that you're maintaining traction, that is a far safer system. It's one of the most advanced, one of the best systems in the snow. And that's what this system is for. So really good all-wheel drive system there. And again, right-sized vehicle, all-wheel drive, and that 1.6 liter turbo engine with good power, lots of torque down low. It's a really good combination. All right, I don't see a ton more questions there. If you have any questions, now's a great time to ask them. If you don't, if you've liked these videos, feel free to subscribe. We've got a lot more vehicles coming up, a lot more good stuff. We've got a bunch of other things planned as well. I'm working on a few little things, trying to work out some stuff that I can't tell you about yet, but a lot of good stuff coming in the next little while. So not a ton of questions. I think we'll just leave it right there. If you are interested in buying this car in Ontario, Brantford Hyundai, Owen Sound Hyundai, let them know I sent you. But the easiest way is just reach out through me, and I'll connect you with the sales team there. There's a link in this description as soon as I'm done this live video, and I'll help you out. I want to thank everyone for watching. It's been fun. We do this every single day. Spend about a half an hour looking at a new vehicle. We've got a bunch of stuff coming up that I can't always tell you about. So make sure you tune in, make sure you subscribe. And if you haven't hit the like button yet, do me a favor, hit that. And we will see you all again next week, or tomorrow. Not next week, tomorrow. Thanks, everyone.